Midila Matuji. She's from Rainawari, Kashmir. She has her own stories, but for now, she's going to be the MC for us.
Thank you, Sachin. It's an absolute honor and pleasure to be amongst all of you. We shared stories last night. I'm not going to repeat those, but I would like to introduce our first speaker for the day, Sachin Kaul. He's a pharmacist and he's a Kashmiri-speaking native, just like me. He was born and brought up in Kashmir, and his family is also a direct victim of Islamic terrorism, and he also had to fled Kashmir, leaving his home behind, just like me and other people here. Please, Sachin ji.
I was told it's really brief, so I'm going to come to the real story. So, I was in 6th grade. This is my personal story. I was in 6th grade in 1990. Actually, I had just finished my 5th grade exams, and it was an evening in winter, so we were not doing much. We were just hanging out, and all of a sudden our parents started yelling. We were outside. Hey, come back inside! Come back inside! And we're like, what happened? So we all rushed inside, and then it felt like something was not right. The atmosphere changed immediately, and soon we noticed and we paid attention that there are 2 or 3 mosques in Shopian, and they were very loud. And there was one thing which was being repeated again and again. Kashmiri Hindu. It was being said in Kashmiri. Yeti niru, that really what that means is Kashmiri Hindus get out of our Kashmir. We want this Kashmir to ourselves without you Kashmiri Hindus, but along with your wives, the women of your family. So we really didn't understand it. I mean, as kids, you're in 5th grade, and all of a sudden this is happening over and over again for a few hours, and we see our parents all worried, and we see so much tension on their faces, and we're like, what's going on? What happened? What is this loud noise? What are they talking about? So they said, it's okay, it's fine, it's just a night, it'll pass by, things will be fine again. But we could feel the tension on our parents' faces. So immediately next day, as you know, Hindus in Kashmir have always been intimidated by Muslims. But after this little incident, we were more apprehensive. We really didn't know how to conduct ourselves with them anymore, because we have seen this rhetoric where they really want us out of there when we thought they are our brothers and sisters. So immediately things started getting really, really uneasy, uncomfortable, and people were thinking, how to deal with it. And apparently they didn't like this. They thought this one incident would change their feelings, it would change their mentality, and they would just leave. So what happened next, and it was the mid of March. About 2,000 to 3,000 families came from Shopian, which was the downtown of this small town, towards Batapora. Batapora is in Kashmiri Hindu village, name for a Hindu village, which had around 150 families. So 2,000 to 3,000 Muslims. They had sticks, they had brooms, they had shovels, whatever they could get their hands onto, they had in their hands, and they were marching towards Batapora. And they were loud and clear. Everybody was scared. I remember my mom held me so tight, I thought this is the last hug, maybe they're going to kill us. And I will never forget that incident. It was, I apologize. So we were all scared, and we didn't know what to do. I'm hugging my mom, she's hugging me, and she's like, this is moonlight. I apologize. Okay, that so it was really, really emotional, and I will never forget that incident. So I'm, trying to convince her, it's okay, Mom, we'll be fine. It happened, remember last time? They shouted on the microphones and nothing happened. We went and played cricket next day. So it should be fine, we'll be okay. And then this time it looked kind of bad. They were getting louder and they were getting closer to Barpura. And now there's a place called Nerdkadal. Nerdkadal was a bridge between the Shopian and Barpura, and there was a little CRPF camp there that had around 25 to 30 people, CRPF Jawans. Thanks to them, they are the reason we're alive today. So they stopped these people, 2,000 to 3,000. And remember, these are not terrorists, these are not militants. They are local people from all walks of life. Some of them were parents of my classmates. Some of them were employees. They used to work for my granddad. And so from all walks of life, teachers, government servants, anyone among the crowd, they all came marching. And so once they were stopped by the CRPF Jawans, they just got really, really angry. And they went back, and right behind them is the PWD department's office in Shopian, which was one of the biggest buildings. It took ages to put it together, because everybody was fighting, let's have a nice office, let's have a building. So finally it came up, and they went back and just burned it. So once they burned it, they were again loud and clear. Kashmiri Hindus, get out of here. We're going to kill you. Either you convert to Islam, or you die, or get out of here, and leave your women behind. That they repeatedly used to say. Apparently they really love our women. So anyway, so that kept happening and happening and happening. And finally, it was probably middle of night, around 12, and it all stopped. And by this time, out of these 150 families, in our immediate neighborhood, there were 9 or 10 families who were us, my uncles, my second cousins and all. So we all got together and they said, we're not waiting here anymore. We're going to make sure that we leave as soon as possible. So these guys left. It was around 12 in the night and everybody is up. So we slept and they planned, and next day what we see is in the middle of night again, around 10 p.m. there was curfew in the city, and we did get some help from the army, because everybody who wanted to move out, they were being helped by the army and CRPF Jawans. So we had these 9 homes, and we had 2 trucks. Now each home was 4 stories. It's not just my home or somebody else's home. Everyone in Kashmir was pretty wealthy. Everybody had a 3-story, 4-story home somehow. So all of that stuff was to be loaded in 2 trucks, 10 families. Now imagine how much are we going to load. And families are joint families. It's not just, a single family with mom and dad and 2 kids. It's grandparents, buas, whatever. So many people are involved there. So all of that was to be loaded in 2 trucks, and we had to move out of there that night. So somehow, whatever was important was taken, because what we thought was it was a temporary event, maybe something wrong is going on, so eventually we'll all be able to go back. So we bagged up some important stuff, put it in the truck and left. Now, out of 150 Hindu families that lived in Barpura Shopian, 80% were gone at the end of the second night of the second event. Now, as Mr. Sapur said, that a lot of people have a dilemma and misconception of what happened to Hindus. Why did they leave? Did the government want them out of there so they could crack down on the terrorism and stuff? It was not that. It was unbelievably well planned and executed with 96 to 100% efficiency. That is not a normal planning. That needs depth of understanding how to do it, and that needs commitment and determination to do it. And that's all they had, not only for that month or a year, they had been planning it for all along, ever since '86. That's when basically things started popping up. So now, obviously 80% are gone. Now the question is, there are still 20% people, and who are these 20% people? They are the businessmen. Because businessmen can't just leave. They have shops, they have taxis, they have small factories, they have orchards, they have their livelihood. This is all they have. They don't have anything else. How are they going to feed when they go somewhere else? So they didn't leave. So 20% of the population was still there. Now, the third step was how to intimidate these people and how to get them out of there. So this third plan comes, and in the middle of April, while Majority of the population is gone. In broad daylight, there was a gentleman named Rajendra Kumar Tikku. He was my oldest cousin's best friend. So they used to hang out, they used to play cricket, whatnot. So they're hanging out in his garment shop in the middle of April. Rajendra Kumar Tikku, he had two more brothers, and they all had businesses. And he was hanging out with this, his name was, we call him Baya Kakru, I don't know what his first real name is. And they were hanging out, and this guy comes, broad daylight, 3 bullets in his chest, and he's dead on spot, Rajendra Kumar Tikku. And as soon as that happened, the friend got up, and fortunately, he wasn't shot. He was told, hey, you guys, whoever is left, you better leave, or this is your fate. This is next. Then this was loud and clear. So next day, whatever was left in Shopian, Kashmir was gone. So they cleansed the entire Shopian, and this was just one militant came who killed Rajendra Kumar Tikku. But majority of operation was conducted by the entire community. So this is how it was planned and how executed, and since then we have been out of Shopian. Now there are a lot of other stories. There are a lot of other things that we have gone through, but we don't have that much time. But I would just like to say one more thing. I have the best memories of my life. Some of the best. There are a lot of other memories, but some of the best memories of my life come from those 10 or 11 years that I've spent in Shopian, Kashmir. I mean, Shopian, Kashmir was a beautiful place, a very peaceful place. You could look at mountains. We would never drink water anywhere else. The water was so tasty and so wonderful. We would just wait to get back to our valley and drink from there. Now, I have so many stories that I always share with my 10-year-old, he just turned 10, son. And he always tells me, Dad, you say so much and so many amazing things about this place. Why can't you take me there? I have been saying the same answer for the past, ever since he's been asking me one thing. Son, it's not safe there. This is the first time I feel, and I have told him, the day 370 and 35A was gone, I woke up and I said, Nirvan, finally, I think I might be able to take you back. I think the day is coming. What this event has given it has given us strength that we are able to come forward and talk. It has given us hope that we might be able to go to our home again, where we belong for the past 5,000 years, before Islam even came there. It was Kashyap Rishi's Bhumi, and we have always been taught peace and harmony and education. That's what our parents have done. They sold their jewelry, they sold their utensils. After the migration happened, you would find more Kashmiri parents in line to get admission to a private school or a public school in Jammu than in relief lines. They were not worried about blankets and free food. All they were worried about was our kids get admission to a school. And as a consequence, we have more educated people now than we have when we were in the valley. That is our resilience. Not a single Kashmiri Hindu has ever picked up a gun. Not a single Kashmiri Hindu has ever done a violent protest. Maybe that is why we are not being heard and our stories are not clear to all. So with that I will end, and Jai Hind.